Hello everybody and welcome to another Warhammer 3 Total War multiplayer battle. This is going to be a land battle. The forces of chaos fighting amongst themselves. Not even really too distinct here. The Beastmen being led by Torox, the Brass Bull, who is almost certainly, I think, a Khorne worshipper. I would be really shocked if he wasn't. Fighting Khorne himself, being led by an exalted bloodthirster. Might actually even have to stop, pause the game because we start so close to each other. I've got some Centaurs with throwing axes right on the front line. I mean, they're basically already within shooting distances. I've vanguarded deployed a bunch of Gore herds, Ungor raiders, and the destroyers of the Drakenwald, these purple Ungors, as close to the front line as I could. My Centaurs, I don't know what's, maybe it's like a map error or some shit, but I'm telling them to, move forward and they go into this ridiculous line, column formation or something. And in the back, I've got Torox, the Bloodbrute Behemoth, because, of course, why not? It's versus Khorne. That's just cool. A Bray Shaman who has nothing at all except a Manticore Summoner, and then Korok's Man Rippers, very elite Beastmen killing machines. And my opponent has got a front line of Chaos Warriors with dual weapons, and Chosen even. And then in the back, he's got 3 Fleshhounds of Khorne, a fabulous killing unit, and then some Furies in the sky. So we've already been dueling a little bit here. The Centaurs just trying to pick off some Furies while running away. These Ungor raiders are looking to make shots on these Furies, but it's kind of a little awkward angle. We get Torox in there, and we get the Bloodbrute Behemoth just chopping into those Furies. But the melee fighting is already about to begin. The Beastmen charging out of the woods, down the hill, running into these Chosen of Khorne. This is a disastrous fight for me. There is no way these shitty Gore herds can possibly beat the Chosen of Khorne. Nor can they really be expected to defeat the Chaos Warriors of Khorne. But they're going to give it a good old try. And with Primal Fury, they got a nice charge bonus. These Furies getting caught up on my units. The Bloodbrute Behemoth just running in to fight these dual weapon Berserkers, slicing through them. And the Exalted Bloodthirster actually avoiding combat, just more interested in flying around. And so I'm just going to take these Bestigor herds and start chopping into these Chaos Warriors, because I figured with my Lord and his Gorgon buddy, we'd be in a pretty good spot. My Ungor Raider line is a little compromised. These Chaos Warriors are already in. My front line died very fast, as you would expect. But the Exalted Bloodthirster lands, and he pops all of his buffs, bringing his, what was his weapon strength there? 871, and his melee attack to 94, but Torox has got some buffs of his own, putting his melee defense at 71. So really 2 elite killing duelists here, but I have the Bloodbrute Behemoth with 93 melee attack, thanks to killing things, I think. The Exalted Bloodthirster is just being fucking shredded by the Gorgon. He pulls out with some Fleshhounds of Khorne. Very frightening unit here. But I do have a lot of fire still. I have a lot of Ungor Raiders that my opponent was not able to kill, even though he has a lot of infantry nearby, and I still have these Centaurs, which are just irritatingly running around, throwing their little axes, their little... are these really axes? I guess they're using axes at the enemies, while Korok's Man Rippers are just standing with their lord and fighting and dying in a battle they probably won't win. I've got some infantry coming back. I got the Bray Shaman running around. Still has not casted his one spell, but I am doing that now. I sort of forgot to do that, and that was a pretty important point here. Torox being hit with a breath attack, doing almost nothing. Yeah, he does not really care. He's got the Blood Greed, slowly building up his melee attack skill. And we've got a Manticore, which jumps down. I was trying to get a terror out on these Chaos Warriors, because I didn't want my Bestigor herd getting hit. And he's got his Chaos Warriors and his Lord jumping on these Gore herd that came back, and I'm kind of trying to target him with my Ungor Raiders. These Ungor Raiders are compromised by the Warriors. And the Centaurs are just sort of running around, and they picked off a couple Flesh Raiders. And, yeah, sorry, I should say the Flesh Hounds. And those units are all dead. So we've just got the Koroks Man Rippers and some Centaurs, and then the Raiders running around. And my opponent still has a basically full untouched unit of Chosen, along with his Lord. But his Lord flies down. Terrible unit to fly into, these like anti-large armor-piercing infantry units, and he gets slapped. The Exalted Bloodthirster being chased down by a Manticore and by the Gorgon. Yeah, just having his back scratched a little bit by the Gorgon there. But, you know, we still have this full unit of Chosen, and my Ungor Raiders are being pursued by these Chaos Warriors, but I do this very annoying technique where I start peeling my Ungor Raiders around. He only has 2 infantry to chase them. I've got 3 archers, so I just sort of move them around and then shoot when he tries to get back to the big blob. I've got my Centaurs chasing down his routing remaining units. And I've got this, you know, this remaining elite blob. You know, Torox is still very healthy. The Bloodbrute Behemoth is very healthy. And I summon another Manticore, which is really helping my balance of power currently with this expensive summoned unit. And yeah, we're just poking those Chaos in the back. His Exalted Bloodthirster is like, well, I don't really want to jump down there. So he's just going to do a breath attack on the Koroks Man Rippers, killing quite a number of the models. Pretty decent breath attack. But he still has these Chosen of Khorne. He still has Chaos Warriors and the Man Rippers. Not amazing. But, you know, we have a Feral Manticore. We have the Bloodbrute Behemoth. And the Exalted Bloodthirster jumps back in. He pops once again all of his buffs, raising his charge bonus to a quite ludicrous level. But again, Torox uses everything he's got. I'm basically just taking all my units and right-clicking on the Exalted Bloodthirster, trying desperately to kill him. And thankfully, because demon units are, for some reason, unfathomably shitty, they all have this instability. And as soon as the morale of this Bloodthirster breaks, he just starts draining like 1,000 HP almost instantly. And, yeah, you know, he's sitting here at 1 HP, refusing to die. But that is the end of the battle as my opponent experiences army losses. A very neat little shot here between these 3 fine gentlemen. And so we managed to pull it out. I was a little surprised by it. I suppose my goon horde, my goodness, the Bloodbrute Behemoth, almost, it didn't, like, you may look at that and think, wow, that's so much. It didn't actually even pay for itself. It came pretty close, but I think it's like 2,500. The Man Rippers didn't have great targets. The Centaurs were essential. He needed to be on a chariot. The infantry didn't work at all. The archers, they did stuff. It just kind of took a little while for them to get engaged, but they were definitely doing damage. My opponent's infantry just kind of smacked mine completely across the board. But that's fine. He paid... If anything, he overpaid for having a real infantry advantage. The big problem was his Fleshhounds of Khorne did not get the value they needed to get. They did not kill the Centaurs. They did not kill my Ungor Raiders. And his Furies also died extremely fast at the very beginning of the game, and they also weren't able to do anything. I think if he kept the Furies back and just sort of waited for, like, okay, the infantry have engaged, now I will jump in on the Ungor Raiders, that could have made the game a completely different story if all those units were dead. But it was a fun match. I like playing Beastmen, especially against Khorne in this way, because they're very fast, very violent, very dynamic games, and it was exciting. Thanks for watching.